Morning, and welcome to Urban Agoge week 14, day 2. So the water levels dropped a bit. I don't know if you can see that. Well, the river's still moving pretty fast, and a little bit of beach that I normally walk around on has been cut off into a sandbar by the water. That was a lot of rain. Look at that though. I don't know if you can pick that up. Now I don't know if that sort of devastation over there is primarily down to, you can see that, all that Himalayan mountain balm pushed over, as well as a lot of other vegetation. So was that how high the water level was yesterday? I don't know. And it's calmer today, because I couldn't even have walked along that little path from the bridge. So yeah, there's absolutely no way I'll be able to do the long walk down by the side of the river back to that waterfall that I normally film. This is the fun thing about, getting off the couch every single day. It's like your primary win. And if you've got an area that you can follow, you can chart it and document it by the seasons. So yeah. So for the last few days it has been fairly rainy, and yesterday it calmed down a bit. So yes, let's bring that down. Yeah, so this may be why there's so much sand in this bit of the wood, it just gets washed down. So I've been relentlessly playing with the 3D printer. I've got a few bugs that need to be worked out in the system, mostly to do with supports, where you're trying to print things that jut out and are wider at the top and stuff like that. So yes. I've been doing a lot of that. I've left it printing a simple shape to make sure that it can still produce simple shapes, and then I've got to align the print heads so they're both at the same point. See if I can do some dual color extrusion, and then I've got to figure out how to make support materials happen. But it's all a learning curve, and let's face it, I got it on Friday, this is now Tuesday, and it's not like I've even had one whole day to sort the printout. Wow, look at this. Now this sort of implies that this is where the water level was. And that cleared a huge swathe. I can only assume that there was some mad level of overflow. Certainly the soil here is a bit more sandy. So it looks like the deformation and stuff like that. I mean, you could walk along here. A little time ago, it's reshaped the sandbars. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the whole having a 3D printer thing. It does look like there's a learning curve, and I might still be on the hunt for a piece of software, although Matter I want to call it Matter Controller. Yeah, that's it. Matter Controller is a pretty interesting piece of software. I can't seem to get it to generate support material, but that's there's no way I'm getting across that. Let's just give you a view of that. Like if I wanted to walk across this log, I could possibly do it. But yeah. So yeah, so Matter Control is a pretty good piece of software as far as printing simple things. I just obviously don't understand it. I would be happier if I could actually take a look at the support materials. Wow, the water really swept through here. And start creating some useful stuff. I mean, I've already got 2 printer spools ready for doing dual print extrusion. And yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I've left it printing a little badge for itself. Out of the grey PLA. So hopefully when I get back it will have done that. And the next thing is to see if I can adjust an image so that I can print out the dual colour poker chip. And not that I play poker, and not that it would be a useful print, but it's a very flat, simple print that I can run off to check the colouring. So there's a bit to learn with 3D printing, and maybe I'll be able to do a tutorial for this printer, because I really rate it. I mean, 3D printers are quite simple machines. That's the annoying thing about them, in a way, in that they didn't exist before now. So if 3D printers have been available for a lot longer, for a lot cheaper price, you have a lot more people working stuff out for a longer period of time. Now, I'd say they've been in existence for about 10 years, maybe 15, but always at the sort of extreme end, the sort of university end of printing. And now they've come down in price. I mean, the build volume of the one I've got is pretty small. It's like 20 centimeters wide by 15 deep by another 15 high, which means that some prints, when I was printing the tubes that support the filament spool, the tube was just too long and printed off badly. And when I was printing the stuff from the red filament, it didn't adhere to the heat bed, so it cantilevered up. So yeah, but that's because I was as a heat bed cover, as an extrusion area, I was using just normal masking tape, which I don't think is a good idea. So I'm still using that because I don't quite have an availability of painter's tape. So there's that. But I do know where to get it. So it's not too expensive. It's about £3 a roll. So I shall probably ease off on 3D printing till Friday, and then I want to try a quite big print. Wow. The rain really swept through here. You can just see it is extremely muddy underfoot. So yeah. So a few things to learn, mostly software. Like, I know the 3D printer works, and if you print something that's put together properly on Mattercontrol, then it will happily print it. It seems to be extremely happy printing single colour stuff, although I did try printing a mug and it just did not want to know. It printed the base and then died, but I think failed prints are a thing. That's why I won't be leaving it to print stuff for long periods of time anymore. I did try that on Saturday, printing the tube, but the tube was just too tall. I mean, it printed out the tube properly, but then it sort of caught itself and then printed it at an angle and stuff. So yeah, it's all about that. It's all about, you know, getting the software file, the G code or the 3GX code, to come out properly. And if it comes out properly, then that printer will print it. But I think there's a learning curve. So, a few bits and bobs. So hopefully I can figure it out. And I'd quite like to make a Rangers plaque for the printer, so I could put that on the side of the machine. And maybe if I've got like a good enough extrusion dealio, that I can make a sort of like a hard, non-flexible morale patch, which would be interesting. So that should be coming soon. If I can get those print heads aligned, I'll definitely have a look into it. I seem to have figured out the materials settings in Mattercontrol, so that's good. And I may well even number them on the printer itself, so I remember which way round it is. But today I want to print out that little dealio, get into it and realign the second print head, because they're not actually level. So that could be cool. And then try and print some dual extruder prints, and then start learning how to make them. And it turns out my printer will print, you know, flexible filament, but it needs an upgrade. So that might have to wait a little while. And because I need to know this printer a lot better. So yeah, but it's definitely, as far as out of the box, if somebody had said, you know, I can give you a ready-made simple printing 3D printer and you can play with it for a week, would you want to pay £140 for the privilege of just playing with it for a week? I'd probably accept that. So I think on balance I've already had plenty of value out of this printer, purely for the fact that it's enabled me to print some cool stuff. That's interesting. Even the railway drainage is draining out really fast. Let's get you a shot of this. Really. I fell over and it wasn't on film. Very rolly. See, now that's not a good sign. There's like a whole manhole cover in there. I wonder where the hell that came from. But yeah, so that's all the water levels around here are massively increased. I'm even catching a little bit of rainbow. Look at that. So yeah. So yeah, it's and also a thing to be borne in mind is I haven't even had a whole day to play with it yet. I had a couple of hours on Friday, and everything since then has been stolen time. But yeah, good to get out, be amazed. It's such an interesting thing. I mean, for a technical thing to maintain my interest, almost pathologically, I almost want to book off some time from work and just spend 2 or 3 days getting really used to it. But yeah. So this is going to be a short one. By the end of the week, I want to have done a bit of 3D printing 101. But right now, I'd probably direct you to the YouTubes, and if you punch in CTC Bizer, B-I-Z-E-R, there's quite a few setups, tutorials for it. But it is amazing how, you know, for this tiny amount of money, people have got a 3D printer, and because it took them like 15 minutes to set it up, some of them are actually grumpy. It's just like, wow, imagine buying a lathe, how long it'd take you to set that up. I know Harlequin's looking forward to manufacturing a CNC machine, and I think once I've got the hang of the 3D printer, I might actually consider it. Oh, slightly off camera there. There we go. So yeah. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Things are progressing. So thanks for watching, and do take care.